Hey guys, Enoch here from Kiddo APC Tech. Today we're going to go over the Blackberry Classic, the newest addition to the Blackberry family, and we'll go over the good, the bad, the specs, and everything in the video. Alright, so with the Classic or the Q20, we're going to go over the specs on the phone first. So we'll start off with the CPU. It's got the Snapdragon 1.5 gigahertz dual core CPU, which isn't bad. It's decent. You know, it's not quad core like like all these most phones coming out now are all quad core and stuff like that. But for the phone, it does alright with the phone. It's got 2 gigs of RAM, which is not. I thought it was pretty good. Actually, not every phone is more than 2 gigs of RAM. I mean, all the newest ones, yes. Most of them are about 3 gigs now. Standard is becoming, I think, 3 gigs, but 2 gigs of RAM is pretty solid on this one. 16 gigs built-in storage, but of course, the screen itself, it's 720 by 720, 3.5 inches, which is, it's a square. It's not bad. It's a good phone. It's a good screen. It's brighter than, I mean, if you've been using the Q10 or you see someone who has a Q10, this definitely has a brighter screen to it, and it seems like a nicer looking screen to me, anyways. Well, it is, of course. And then camera-wise, it's got a 2 megapixel front-facing camera. Which it's not bad. It's not very laggy or anything, which is good. It's got the 8 megapixel camera at the back. No special lens or anything like that. It's not like super incredible, whatever, but it's decent. 8 megapixel. You take pictures, that's pretty decent picture qualities and stuff like that. Night times, maybe not, like when it's dark and stuff. It's not the greatest. The low light levels, you can still see all the noise and everything in there. It's not bad, but it's not it's not like it doesn't compare to some of the newer ones coming up for sure. But outdoors and stuff like that, it is pretty good. You can get some decent qualities pictures in there. It's 1080p video recording, which is good. If you put it to the computer or whatever, you're recording stuff like that, it's pretty good. It is a little bit, of course, like wobbly, whatever. And it does have the autofocus, and it does try to focus and stabilize a little bit, which helps with the phone for sure. I wouldn't recommend this phone, for instance, if somebody's all about like to take their pictures and videos and stuff like that. It's good to have. It's good to have on the phone. It's not terrible that if you have this phone, you need another phone for videos and stuff like that. It is decent. It's just not like if that's your main thing, it's not the phone that I would recommend for you. All right, so now let's talk about the hardware of the phone. In this case, I do like what Blackberry did. It feels like a very solid phone. It doesn't feel like it's cheap or plastic at all. Why don't we start at the back here? Let me just get this out of the way. So at the back here, if you see, it's like it's got like ridges, and it's like, I guess, like rubbery plastic, but it feels nice. It's like non-slip material, so you don't feel like it's gonna slip out of your hand, which I really like. And then here you got the classic, the logo here, the camera, the flash, and then the little glass piece still in, and then the chrome embedded here, which is really cool. I always like that. I always like seeing the chrome black pin there. So it's really simple, really nice. I really like how they did that. And then on the bezel, which is what I like, is it's metal. I'm really happy with that. And the phone itself is pretty heavy. It's about 177 grams, and I really like that, actually. I like the weight of the phone. It feels really solid and nice in your hands. So on the top here, we'll focus. Okay, there it is. So you got 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, your mics, and then the lock button. The lock button's clicked. You can feel the click, and it's very responsive. It's very nice. Same with the volume up, volume down, and the mute button. Also, if you hold the mute button, which is pretty cool, is you'll get Blackberry Assistant, which is like Siri or Cortana, or I guess Google now. It's not, it's getting there. They're working on it, but it's really neat to have. And at the bottom here, you have the micro USB port. It looks like 2 speakers, but one's a speaker, one's a mic. You just get the 1 speaker for speakerphone, but it sounds all right. And then here you got the nano SIM. They don't take micro SIM, and it provides a pin so you can pop these out to put it in. And then your SD card. It says it supports 128 gigabyte. I'm not 100% sure if it can all or not, but I put a 32 gig, and it worked perfectly fine. And then here at the front is a well-known QWERTY Blackberry keyboard, and you can tell they brought the belt back here with the call, the menu, the standard Blackberry here, the menu that they have here. And then obviously the lit back keyboard, so if you're in the dark or something like that, it works perfectly. You can see everything. And then at the top here, you got your Blackberry logo, you got your earpiece, and then you got your 2 megapixel front facing camera. 720 by 720 3.5 inch screen here, which is just a square, which isn't bad. Over, like, it's a decent screen, but the keyboard has a very nice click to it. It's very responsive. It's a very nice keyboard. It's BlackBerry's known for that. I mean, there's no comparison in QWERTY keyboards. It's really good. So overall, this phone is really well made, very solid. Of the classic, you can see I don't have very big hands, but it fits pretty neatly in my hands. For one-handed, you know, like operations, which is pretty decent. It's pretty cool. Sometimes I guess, you know, reaching there is going to be a little bit inconvenient for me, but I mean, overall it's pretty good one-handed use. Like, you can use it with one hand pretty comfortably. Let me just show you here. Let me just grab it. I never noticed how big the difference was until I put them side by side, but that is the 9900 right there. So you can see it looks like a 9900's big brother. I definitely do like the straight edge actually better. When it first came out on the Q10, I actually thought I didn't like that, but after using stuff, I like it much better, and it looks more presentable, I think, than the curve. This makes it almost look like a cheaper phone, but in its time before it got outdated, it was a decent phone, the 900. But I guess it just came out to upgrade the Q10. So it's a good upgrade, but the Q10 itself is not a bad phone. This one does have the 10.3.1 software, and I like the keyboard on this one better, just the way it feels and clicks, and I don't know, I like it better on this one. They did upgrade that, and obviously you got this extra row right here now with the trackpad and the menu and call and stuff. And then but it's not just of the outside that they changed. Like, this has 2 gigs of RAM. I think this only had 1 or 1.5, something like that. This has a better camera, newer system, better screen. So I mean, overall they did change it, so it's not that it's just the outside, you know, the specs. It can handle a little bit more multitasking. And then I was actually surprised. This is one comparison to this. I found it weird. When I thought it would be smaller than the Z10, but you can see the Z10 is just a little bit longer. This is wider than the Z10 though. But I think for the design of the phone, it's a good idea because it doesn't feel too skinny. It feels solid in your hand. The Z10, I mean, was a comfortable fitting phone, but this one, the way they made everything, it feels really solid and really nice. But it's just strange to me. I just was surprised when it's like the same size. And you can see here, this has that corner, but it's pretty much the same width as well, like this way. It's just that you can't really tell here because but the curve is what makes it that way. And of course, this is Z30, right? Z30 is obviously bigger, but you know what? This was a very popular phone. I really like the Z30. When it came out, most Blackberries that are coming out have that rubber back, which I think a lot of new phones maybe should follow that example, because it feels nice. Although, you know, the metal phones and stuff like that coming out does feel really good too. So that's the Z30. It's a bigger phone for sure. And then obviously these two came out similar timing. The Blackberry first. But there you go, the two newest phones for the BlackBerry family. This one is definitely a bigger phone. You might have to get used to that one, but as a day-to-day business phone, this is an amazing phone right there. And for video though, here I'm gonna play a video here. It's, like I said, it's a square, so if you're into video and stuff like that, like, it's not terrible. Like, see, see, it does play. It's good. But you know, you're not gonna be watching it, you know, Super HD on here or very big or whatever. And you know, you will see the the black empty spaces there, right? But it plays though. It's not bad. It does play. But if your main thing is, you know, like I said, this isn't really all for media. This phone, the purpose of this phone is more for work and stuff like that. But if it is good for emailing and everything like that though. Like, I don't know, I like the phone, but the video does cut it off a little bit. So if you're into, like, you know, you might not like it, you might not really care too much. Like, for me personally, I don't really care that much. I mostly watch videos like maybe on a tablet, laptop, computer, on the phone here and there. But for this one, I did it just to test out battery life wise. And then the only thing is, yes, even the browser is pretty good. Let me go here. Let me see here. You do have to do some kind of scrolling though, because what happens with this one is it is like a square screen. It does fit it in, but you do got to do a lot of scrolling and stuff like that for this phone. Like, you can exit like that. But it's decent for browsing stuff. It's quick. It's not that it's slow. It's just that it doesn't fit it as nicely as, you know, a full out touchscreen phone, right? Like it doesn't fill it in as properly. You do have to do a lot of scrolling, and you got to be careful because if you swipe from the bottom, you'll just be exiting out of it, you know. But overall, the browsing is decent on it. And I know BlackBerry in general, people are always like, I don't like the BlackBerry software, it's outdated or it doesn't support apps, and everybody's always complaining about the app thing. But with this software, the 10.3.1, it's a very solid software, and you do have a lot of apps. It does have the Amazon apps, which honestly, it wouldn't run as well as some of the Android phones or, you know, Apple phones and stuff like that, but they do run. The BlackBerry apps are really usually solid. There's just not too many, but you can go right on onemobilemarket.com right on the phone and download One Mobile or sideload Snap. It's like this thing has a lot of apps, and it supports anything at all that I've needed. I have not been able to find it or use it properly. Anything I need works perfectly for it, and that's why when people are complaining about apps, I'm like, you know, maybe you want 1,000 games on your phone, I don't know, but app-wise, it supports all the apps. It does really good, and BlackBerry's still working on it. So I wouldn't even complain about that at all. Like you can sideload all the apps. You can, like, it's so much easier now though. Like you got the Amazon, BlackBerry, One Mobile. I don't have it right now in here, but Snap as well, which is like the Play Store kind of thing. And again, most of the apps are compatible, especially with 10.3.1. With the previous BlackBerry 10 OS, I couldn't get Chrome to work on it. Now it works perfectly on this one. With the new update they did with the software. So like I said, like BlackBerry's working on it. People complaining a lot about it and stuff like that, but you know what, BlackBerry's getting there. I think obviously they have a lot to recover, because I mean they really got behind it, but you know what, it's a good phone overall. You can get your apps, you got the camera, you got the video, you got everything you can do on it, of course. But in my opinion, if you're into media and social and stuff like that, like social media and all that multimedia and all that stuff, maybe I wouldn't recommend it for you. But if you like business, or you just need a phone for calling, texting, some emails, and the occasional app here and there, this is like the perfect phone. Like, and it feels so like, I know keep going back to it, but it just feels so nice in the hand. It's just such a nice feeling phone. Like I probably use another phone, and this one will just be my little backup there, just because I love feeling it and just the way the weight of the phone. They did a good job. It feels like a great quality product. So overall, in my opinion, it's a good phone, but it's not the greatest for the camera. It's not the greatest for, you know, like social, like Facebook and stuff like that. You can see one picture at a time on your Facebook and stuff like that, you know, and you got to do a lot of scrolling. But I mean, the letters and stuff are like, it's read up, everything, you can read everything and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's not the greatest for that, but for the purpose, this is a perfect daily, like calling, texting, emailing, business phone wise, I'd say it's number one. Because for me, I've used Android, iPhone, everything, but productivity wise, this thing is just the best. Like with the hub, the BlackBerry hub, I think is awesome. Once you get used to that, it's really tough to use any other phone as your main phone if you get really used to that hub, because then you keep going back to it and you keep like, wow, this phone doesn't have that, and, you know, it's just no matter what phone. So I like the BlackBerry hub wise. But yeah, so that's the review of the BlackBerry Classic. It's a good phone overall. So I hope you could take something out of this. I don't know if you make your mind whether or not this phone is for you. But if you like the video, just like it below and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Thank you.